Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right, most recommended Eustace Body Shop. Woohoo!
Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in. Happy Thursday. This is the Don't Punt Hour. And it's crazy. I got to keep saying 2 more games left for Nebraska football to go bowling. It is Thursday. We got DeMornay Pierson-El in here for the Don't Punt Hour. And like I said, if you listened before, you know that Thursdays, at least during Husker football season, are just deep dives on Husker football, the scouting report, the keys to victory, really the last thoughts heading into it before we talk about Husker football again on Monday. Keep in mind, though, we do got just an absolute thriller of an NFL game on the brick and mortar. We got the Steelers and the Browns. So if you guys want to listen to the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. Sartor Heyman text line still open to you. 402-464-5685. Like I said, we're going to talk a lot of Husker football today. Good morning, Pierson-El. How's it going on Thursday night?
It's going good. Excited about heading, into this weekend, about this opportunity. Can't wait.
Yeah, and there's a few good things this weekend. One we touched on already yesterday with Creighton. We got Nebraska, Creighton tomorrow, Friday game, and then Saturday, which, again, is going to be so weird for the J-Skers. That is a tough turnaround to put on the blue on Friday and then switch around to put on the red for that Saturday game. I think there's a right way to be a J-Sker. I just think most people are do it a little bit too egregiously. But we talked about that yesterday. You can rewatch it on YouTube. We got Wisconsin. This is deja vu, right? Wisconsin 5-5, Nebraska 5-5. You look at last season, a lot of the same story. An opportunity to go bowling for Nebraska. I think Wisconsin actually needed 2 games, but they of course found a way to go bowling last year. We didn't. This one's at home. ESPN has it about a pretty 50-50 split. I think last time I looked, ESPN's power predictor projections, they got a 53% chance for Wisconsin. You look at the spreads, all pretty consistently even. And then you look at people's picks. A lot of people are actually leaning towards Nebraska in this one. I think just going with the home field advantage.
Yeah.
But just give me your overall thoughts heading into this. I mean, you got 2 5-5 teams, one team with 3 wins in conference with Wisconsin, another team with only 2 conference wins in Nebraska.
You know, I feel as bad as, you know, these past couple of weeks have been, you know, I feel like we are on the up of things. I can say we finally, I don't want to say got things figured out, but we at least got things established on the offensive side. It's never been, you know, oh, the defense, you know, didn't necessarily do its part, or they had one game where they didn't show up. Well, on the offensive side, I feel like they haven't, you know, necessarily done their part to capitalize on a whole lot of things. Like I said, you win two out of 3 phases of the game, and you know, you should be fine. Wisconsin is, I would say, you know, falling from grace, if you can say that. But you know, they've been scrambling kind of all year. I understand they played Oregon well or whatnot. Quarterback issues, offensive coordinator got fired. They've looked, you know, not really good on the offensive side as well. And with us kind of our coach, you know, challenging the players, actually, you know, saying what things are and whatnot, and getting the kids to play better or with more effort than what we've seen in recent, I feel like it is pointing things in the right direction. So all we have to do is just come out and take care of things right. You know, just show up on offense, show up on defense, establish certain things and whatnot. You know, play the game. This is definitely, you know, a winnable game for sure.
Yeah, and you know, I think, look, you can say they almost beat Oregon, but that was one of the worst games.
We almost beat Ohio State. So
exactly. And then look, we showed up the next week to lose to UCLA. You know, you would have thought after Ohio State that was the game that's going to swing this team in the right direction. We're tired of the moral victories, but hey, you played a really good team, close. That should look pretty good heading into UCLA, and that's why you saw the spreads versus UCLA, like Nebraska 8.5, 7.5. I think at one point it was even as high as 9.5. But you're getting to this point now where, I mean, both these teams are very similar in how they'll show up some games, and other games they'll just get completely blown out. You look at Wisconsin's last 5; they lost to Oregon, like I said, 16-13, bludgeoned by Iowa, 42-10, lost to Penn State, 28-13, but they did beat Northwestern 23-3, and they destroyed Rutgers shortly after we put Rutgers on that tailspin, 42-7. And then, of course, Nebraska, you know our history, lost the last 4. Our last win was also Rutgers, but it was a 14-7 win. It's just these two programs are on a skid. Nebraska, a 4-game skid. Wisconsin, a 3-game skid. Right now, who do you think has the hotter seat? I'm not saying that Luke Fickell or Matt Rule are going to get fired, but which fan base do you think is feeling a little more uneasy than the other?
I would say ours for sure. Because Wisconsin has been successful. You know, they've went to bowl games. They've played in the postseason and everything like that. You know, it hasn't been, you know, the Wisconsin with Corey Clements and all of that. But, you know, they've at least been successful enough to get, you know, at least 6 wins and above outside of, you know, the last couple of years maybe. But, I mean, our fans, you know, we haven't got to 6 games. We've had potential. We've had, you know, the Savior Jesus Christ himself with Frost, and it's all been, you know, a letdown. So, I mean, for sure, it's us.
Yeah, and I've been hearing some people saying it's Wisconsin. Listen, I think Wisconsin's fine. I will say, though, they got these 2 games here in Nebraska and Minnesota. They want to go bowling again.
It's not easy. It's not going to be easy.
It's not. Like, this is not a Wisconsin team that's going to come out with a lack of energy.
No.
The whole thing for Nebraska is like, I said it a lot yesterday, so I'll go short on it. But like, at some point in time, we got to start protecting Memorial Stadium, and you can't let Wisconsin shut the fan base up within the first drive, within the first quarter. That's been a lot of it. You go back since really that Colorado game, you gave the fans something to cheer about and feel optimistic.
I mean, there were other games. There were other games we came out on the first drive and scored after Colorado. Like, I think the atmosphere and the build up of what Colorado was, that's a little bit different. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh, you're gonna get that type of energy every game, because you're not. You know, it's some of those bigger games that you kind of circle around that creates that type of energy. So, I mean, it's not just, oh, yeah, we got to come out. I mean, the game and your opponent definitely matters in how much, energy kind of comes from that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just think, I guess, like, and this isn't necessarily the fan base's fault, but the fan base is just on constant eggshells.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them for just being like dejected. You'll go to other, because I'll say this. I saw this last year was when I really noticed it for the first time. It was Nebraska at home versus Michigan. And Michigan, it was early in the game, right? It was just that first drive. But after that first drive, it was the first drive, and it was third and about 4 or third and about 3. And the fan base was it was dead. Like, they just saw it already. They were like, man, Wisconsin, this isn't going to be a good one. Like, there was just dejection already. And that's just what happens, like years of close losses. And now you look at Matt Rule dealing with a lot of the same things. I just think it's tough for this fan base to stay in it sometimes, especially if it's, Colorado, that Tommy Hill pick 6 just blew the roof off that place. Yeah. And at that point on, it just kind of felt like the fan base was going to be involved the entire way through.
That play is up there with B. Riley's touchdown against Michigan State, Jano's fullback dive against Wisconsin, Tommy Armstrong's rushing game-winning touchdown against Oregon. That play is up there, like in that type of caliber of just making the whole stadium go off.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. The best thing I could compare that to would be the McNeese State game with Amir Abdullah, because that wasn't like a super packed crowd.
Nah,
people just lost their damn minds because they couldn't believe.
No, the Amir thing is in itself by that. That's on its own. The pick 6 happened first off, early in the game. It was still it was still a lot of time left on there, and you were still nervous about, okay, if Colorado figured things out.
Yeah.
The Amir thing, that was a walk-off home run. Completely different, not even, both great plays, but that pick six is not touching Amir's play at all. People were mad, probably thought we were already about to lose. The game was over and everything like that. Literally touchdown, ball game. Like, completely different.
Well, hey, I'm still being fair here because I stand by what I said, because I remember I was at that game. There's some people that hit the doors. So it was loud, but because of the team that was on the schedule, people weren't necessarily staying through the whole thing once things got choppy. That Colorado game, like, I haven't seen Nebraska be that loud in a long time, and that's why I put it up there. More just the noise factor.
The Miami game in 14.
I put Miami, the Northwestern, Ron Kellogg, Westerkamp, Hail Mary. That's another really good one.
Sure. So, I mean, there's a couple games up there, but it's different when you walk off, touchdown to win it. It's a little bit different. It was an excellent play. He picked it, but there was still, a lot of time in the game left. It's not like, it wasn't the first play of the game. That might have been a little bit different. That's a tone setter. Like, oh, okay. They were already, beaten down, and that was just, even more, adding more wood to the fire.
Yeah. And say this, just to wrap up that whole discussion. If we're talking about the most impressive play, Amir Abdullah, hands down. I mean, there's no question what he did on that day was, I mean, it's still one of my favorite highlights. Not only because it's like nostalgic for me to go back to my first Husker game. He was just such a fun running back to watch, like through his entire career. And it's frustrating because Nebraska really, I don't want to say they haven't had a guy like that. They haven't had an Amir. Like, let's just be real here. But they've maybe had guys that could have definitely had better careers. But because their offense has been in such a flux that they never really gotten in any sort of rhythm, and we're always just kind of looking around at different pieces, trying to figure out what's not working. When I hate to say it, we probably had some really good backs that we just did not utilize properly. But looking at this game, and we'll get closer diving into the X's and O's, I want to just like kind of set up the scene here. Are you surprised to see Nebraska favorite though? 1.5 favorite. I mean, it's very minor.
No.
Give me what you see in Wisconsin this year. You know, the lock-led QB.
With Wisconsin, you know kind of what you're getting. You know they like to run the ball. You know they're going to play solid defense. You know they're going to play sound as a team together. And you know it's not going to be an easy task regardless of what it may look like and what happens. They're going to show up and be ready to play. That's what you can count on with Wisconsin. Now, they've had a few hiccups, and they're not the same giant that they used to be, you know, when they were just, you know, RBU for some time, you know, or offensive line where they were sending, you know, All-Americans and first rounders through running backs and O-linemen. So they're not quite that anymore. So you have a fighting chance. You just have to, you know, prepare yourself and show up on game day.
Yeah, if you had to give Luke Fickell's Badgers an identity today, like what is the Wisconsin Badgers identity? It's not far. I don't think it's very different, but it certainly is a new direction. And this program is going to take some losses, I think, as they're trying to turn the steering wheel. Not saying they won't regain their momentum, but certainly they're taking some bumps, trying to change the kind of the culture a little bit. I mean, it's not tearing the roof off, but certainly,
you know, and this is gonna sound funny. You know, it's like they're going through puberty.
It really is.
At a certain age, you know, things change. Your voice get a little deeper, hair growing, and everything like that. So, you know, they're going through what they were to, you know, I don't want to say the new era, but you got a coach that's not, you know, I don't want to say in that era. You got a coach that thinks differently, has different, you know, ideology with things and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So they're getting away from a little bit of their bread and butter, but he still has to incorporate that because your guys that are there now, I mean, that's what they came there for. And unfortunately, you know, coaching situation change happens and everything like that. So, I mean, you working with it, so you still try and build off of your strengths, but you also want to do what you want to do, and it's not quite there yet. So you got your growing pains, your growth spurts, your clothes don't fit a little bit more, and whatnot. So I think that's kind of like where they're at with things.
Yeah, and you know, and I'll give Luke Fickell credit for this. Like the one thing about his run with Cincinnati that was so impressive was like his defense at Cincinnati was unreal. Mm-hmm. And that's one part of his culture that plugged right into Wisconsin. You look at the Badgers this year, that defense is phenomenal. I know they had I shouldn't say phenomenal because they did give up 42 to Iowa, which is still just hard to believe that you let Iowa get 42 on you. It's not phenomenal, but it's good, right? It's consistently a solid defense. You could kind of put them in the same ballpark as Nebraska. Like, yes, there's some scores you can point to and being like, what? I thought you said this was an elite defense. It's more good than bad. Like, more often than not, they're going to show up and probably keep you under 20 points. You look at that Oregon game, that's exactly what that was. Now, offense didn't get any better. I'll tell you that much. That defense, undefeated Oregon only got 16 points. One of the worst showings for Oregon's offense all year. So, again, with this game, the biggest thing that worries me is, can we stop the run? Because if we can stop the run, I don't care. I don't care who you got for an OC. Block's not going to do it for you. Like he just isn't. And Walker is their bell cow. He wants to run. I think. So right now it's crazy. I mean, they give him the ball a lot too. So we're going to see a lot of him. 162 carries on the year so far, 773 yards, averaging about 4.8 yards a carry. He's got 10 touchdowns on the year. Not used as receiving back a ton, but he does got 9 receptions, only for about 23 yards though. So really, the only time he's used as a threat as a wide receiver is just to release back. Like they're not dialing things up, but I mean, he's their bell cow
for sure.
So I mean, if we can stop Walker, which you'll like that with our defensive front, like I that like we'll quick do the keys for Wisconsin, but that's my key for Wisconsin is we got to run the ball. What ways can Wisconsin really break down this Husker defense as we talk on the other side of the coin here?
You want to say like offensive wise or defensive wise?
Yeah, like what do the Badgers got to do? Try to win this game out in Memorial. And we'll spend the other 2 segments all on Husker.
They would have to first off, establish their identity. We've had issues with making plays and tackling like in one-on-one situations. So I would say create situation as that, have your your running game again be established and whatnot. Take the ball out of your quarterback's hand to where you don't want him to sling it and throw it and whatnot all over the yard. I think that would be their game plan of getting stuff down and getting to manageable third downs. You do that and you kind of weigh in on that defense and whatnot. Sooner or later it can break.
Yeah, I think too. I'll quick pull up the stats for the quarterback here, because this to me is the game where if you're Nebraska, you got a good opportunity for some turnovers as well. I think he's got. Let's see here. Yeah, this could be. We're talking his 6th straight game here where Locke would be throwing a pick. Like he's been very inconsistent. So to your point, like if you're Wisconsin, it's all about getting Walker going. If you can't get the run game going, which
that's
I'm sure that's a wrap, right? Unless
it can be
offense from the first half versus UCLA for 4 quarters.
It can be very much like Indiana. Not Indiana. Rutgers, where you kind of shut down the running back, and it's like, and I understand, some of their players, didn't make plays or whatnot, but you here for a reason. You got to make plays. But it can very much be to where, you have a hot or, a running back that makes you nervous and whatnot. And you see our defense kind of just step up and, just take him off the table. And then what are you going to do necessarily with your quarterback? Because he's not. I wouldn't say he's an elite passer. I wouldn't say he's a scary passer to where he's not a Gabriel or anything like that. Can he make plays with his legs? Because in the past we've seen that kind of bite us. And I wouldn't even say he's a UCLA type of quarterback. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and he's. I'll see if find his rushing yards here just to see if this guy really takes off a lot here. Okay, yeah, he's definitely not necessarily a running quarterback either.
No.
So this is a game where, again, like talking, if I'm the Wisconsin Badgers, if it is the end of the first quarter and we still have yet to establish running the ball,
lovely.
Yeah, I'm saying if I'm the Badgers, I'm panicking.
They're in trouble. That is you kind of start sweating a little bit, like looking around, and the cracks are there. Sooner or later, it all comes down.
And the real beauty of this, and this is the drinking a gallon of Kool-Aid optimist. Like Nebraska's offense is so good that it's not even us stopping the run. It's they have to go ahead and throw the ball down the field because we're just scoring too fast for them. That's if you really like Dana Holgorsen and his second actual game for the Huskers, 3rd week actually working as the OC. But it's one of those things where even if it's a time of possession game and it's 7-0 heading into the first half, like even if you get a 10-score lead, like fourth quarter, if you have the lead in the fourth quarter, that just spells doom for Wisconsin. And that's kind of where they're similar this year to where when things get ugly, you go to that Iowa game. We talk about this all the time. What does Iowa like to do? Get ahead by 1 score or 2 scores
and just milk it.
And just make you have to play a little more aggressive than they want to, because they will, get a 3 and out, whatever. They'll trade you 3 and outs. They'll play field position all day. But what Iowa does is they make you just force some really stupid plays out there, and they get turnovers, they get pick sixes, they get special teams plays. They force you to do things you don't want to do. That's why I was so frustrating, because they really make you play their brand of football just about every time, unless you got unless you're Ohio State and you've got enough offensive talent where you can get over that defense. But this is a game where, again, big opportunity for the secondaries. I think, this is a quarterback, especially if you can stop Walker. Like there's going to be some candy being thrown out there. He's not been very accurate all year. Again, like I said, this would be 6 straight games with an interception. And some of those games he's thrown multiple interceptions. Like, talk to me about the secondaries, and we'll go ahead and throw it to break to get to our next 2 segments. But like, what did you see in that USC game? Because they weren't at all. Like, I don't know.
I mean, we got what, 2 turnovers? I think that game, 2 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken.
We got 1 interception, and then we forced a fumble
turnover. From the secondary standpoint, that's the 2nd game in a row where we've gotten a pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people were talking about, oh, we didn't create turnovers last year. You're not hearing that this year. So they understand it, more comfortable with things. They're in the right position. Honestly, we probably should have had another interception. The ball literally went
3 picks that game. That's the part that's frustrating, right?
So they're in the right position. It hasn't been like, a busted play and it's like, oh, that's not supposed to happen and you're just wide open and whatnot. So they know where they're supposed to be at. They're athletes and they've made plays on the ball. Now it's just you got to continue to establish that and try and make that more. Be the finisher, not necessarily the equalizer. Like with this type of game, we don't want things equal. Be the reason of why it might flip your way. D-line might get the push, might get the flush out of the pocket or something like that, and he gives you something. Make the play, because even though I think that was the first pick 6 of the year. No, second pick 6. Sorry. Even though we got points off of it, it still wasn't enough. Of things. So continue to try and make things happen. And then, from the Wisconsin standpoint of their defense, they play sound football. They're not too greedy. They're not overly athletic and hungry to make the big plays and everything like that. They're going to be in the right position, and they're not going to mess up. They're waiting on an opportunity to seize it. So they play really, really safe and sound football.
Yeah, I mean, it's conservative football at its finest, even with Luke Fickell there. Like we kind of talked about at the beginning, like he's certainly changed the direction, and we can call it like a puberty stage or whatever, but it's not so far different to where these guys aren't I mean, it's still a good defense. They still, with their quarterback, like they understand they got to run the ball a lot. You can see that with Walker and the amount of carries he has. Like, yes, there's new wrinkles to it, but it very much is still the Wisconsin brand of football that, good morning, I'll let you guess. What is the current losing streak to Wisconsin? It's the 2nd longest in all of Nebraska's football's losing streaks. What's this number?
7 or 8.
Go up.
15.
Close. 10. 10 is the 2nd longest losing streak that we have. The other one is Oklahoma, way back in the day. I believe it's 16 straight losses to Oklahoma. But that, I mean, that you have to go back. I'm talking like 1960s, 70s. Like you have to go really far back. Might even be before that. But that's what I'm saying with Wisconsin. Like you got another opportunity to go bowling, get Wisconsin a revenge game finally. And they only, right? I mean, we're talking, they could have an 11-game winning streak on Nebraska, which is just unfathomable. Because it's, especially if you go look at all those scores, like, yeah, there's some blowouts, but most of them
are close games.
And the fact, exactly. And the
you
fact
might have a blowout. You might have a blowout game like every 3 years, maybe, or every 4 years or something like that. To be honest, I think it might be just one, and that was just the Melvin game.
I think it was the only one.
Other than that, I mean, it's been under 10 points. It's been probably a lot under 7 for real.
Most of them. I mean, I can't imagine. It hurts me to think about the amount of field goals that have lost us games. As a Husker football fan, like a field goal has never been more threatening because you just need one most of the time. You're playing Nebraska football as of late to pull away. I mean, it's a 1-score game. That's been the trend for him. That being said, though, we'll talk about the keys to victory because I do think there is a great chance of success here for Nebraska. Obviously, not going to be easy. Wisconsin's a good team, but I'm not out on Nebraska. You got 2 games left, and guess what? They're both winnable. And if you go bowling, that third one's going to be winnable too, because they're not going to put you in a bowl game, with Alabama. Like, they'll be good. So with that being said, we'll throw it to break here. Dump Punt Hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, the host as always. Harrison Owens on the 1s and 2s. We'll talk to you on the other side.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more, all at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant. 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a champ, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. Touchdown! This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour, DeMornay Pierson-El on the streaming in 402-464-5685. You guys can join in Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961, all that good streaming content. DeMornay Pierson-El, second, third segment. Might combine them depending on how long this first one goes here, but let's go to keys to victory. We got to do a better job of this because apparently the last, 4 weeks, the keys haven't been quite right. So I don't know what we got to do, but we got to figure something out.
Where do you want to start first, offense or defense?
You know what? Let's go special teams first. Let's get the odd duck out of the way because this feels like a game where that's going to matter, and we don't have to spend a ton of time on it.
For special teams, I would say, assignment successful. Like, if you are, which I wouldn't say we've seen, kickoff, tackle, not the explosive things. If you're out there for field goal, assignment success. Kick the field goal, no blocks, no, bad blocking to where it comes down to it and you lose the game, like we've seen in the NFL that these past 2 weeks. If you are on either return team, secure the catch, at least get a first down 10 yards. That would be great. So I think being successful in your assignments is a must. Like we can't afford not to put points on the board. I mean, to allow points to get put on the board and not put points on the board. So I think that's the first key for them.
Yeah, I'll be real quick on it for special teams. Like, just execute in one big play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's really helpful in one-score games? One good special teams play. And we have just gone years. Yeah, really. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying this because you're my co-host on the show, but DeMornay Pierson, like, we have to go back to your era.
I would say I think JD was probably the last one. I think he had a kickoff return.
Yeah, JD, you're right.
After me, I think they played Arkansas State, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if it's Arkansas State, but I think you are right. For you guys can chime in if there's anybody else, but I think it was JD.
Mm-hmm, it was,
and that's just like, it's brutal. It's I don't expect it year in, year out because special teams is a little bit of chaos and magic all in itself. Like, you got to find a guy that's just wired for it, and those are very tough to find. I mean, you go across college football, you're rarely going to find explosive players on special teams. You'll find explosive plays, but a player that does it consistently. Because, I mean, you can, even speak on that. Like, you knew that other teams were aware of who you were and that they were going to probably send some of their guys, their starters, out there to make sure that you don't get it all the way back to the house. So Wisconsin's not going to do that because we haven't had that success with special teams. But these one-score games, like, that's all I got. Execute when you're out there. You can talk to my Chicago Bears, although that was an illegal maneuver. The Bears actually got called for that back in the year. But a blocked field goal, brutal. You lose the game. Wisconsin might be a field goal type game. Execute. Be perfect. And if you want to do better, have one explosive play because I think this will probably another one-score game. Like, that's just Nebraska's always.
Hopefully not, but yes.
Yeah, hopefully not. That's all I got for special teams. I'll let you pick offense or defense next year.
Let's go offense. I feel like we've always done defense first. Let's go offense.
All right.
My keys for offense. First one is just establish a dominant ground game. I think which with the new OC with what they showed with SC, I liked it a lot. But you got to wear out that Wisconsin's defense. Keep them off the field as much as you can. I don't. If we score quick consistently, I'm not mad. But Wisconsin is one of those games where it's gonna be a car crash. You have to kind of continuously to hit them in that mouth, and they'll feel it later on. So I think establishing that is a strong candidate of what we need to do. Which I like what the coach did. Like I said, I mean, he didn't shy away from it. He kept running the ball and everything like that. And as the game went on, things got better. So I think that is definitely a key because it will set up some other things that I'll say.
Yeah, and there was a commitment to it in that USC game all the way up until the last couple drives where we really needed to score before the clock ran out. But yeah, I mean, it was just consistent with Dowdell and Emmett Johnson. Like, even if you got, quips about which running back you want to see back there, at least it was consistent, right? And it was up the middle, and then they'd stretch it east and west, and then back up and north. I mean, it just, for whatever reason, felt like we were taking account of what the defense was doing, and we were actually setting them up. Like, even if we weren't getting success on a play, we'd run it again just to set up the next one. So yeah, running the ball, that one's going to be major. It's supposed to be 56 degrees is the high on Saturday, so it's not going to be a thing where you need to because of the elements.
Yeah.
But again, when we're talking about Wisconsin football, their secondary is elite. They have a really, really good secondary. That's arguably one of the best parts about that Badger team this year is that secondary group. Not necessarily getting a ton of turnovers, but they're just sticking to guys like crazy. So definitely set up the run. I'm with you there. And if you're Dylan Raiola, not even necessarily explosive, but you got to have a good completion percentage. Because I think this is a game where, you might not be dialing up a bunch in terms of the passing game, just based on how this one might go. So when you are back there, you got to connect. We've had some deep shots this year that I know he'd love to have back. You'll probably get one this game on some rub route or whatever Dan decides to dial up. You got to hit it. And that's all, like you said, if we get the run game going, we'll have one of those shot plays and he's just got to deliver.
Yeah, and then my second key is utilizing play action. It's 2 in 1, utilizing the play action and having your guys make plays. Wisconsin is spiraling. They are. Their offense, is not anything, to be, I don't want to say to not be scared of, but their offense, you don't necessarily know what it is. It's inconsistent. They hang their hat on the defense. You establish the run game and then you do play action off that to exploit your secondary. Now your defense isn't playing bad, and what you've been hanging your hat on, you're crumbling. So it's a mind game. You're not playing well on offense. You're not playing well on defense and everything like that. Now the whole game's bad. Now, you in your head, you're doubtful. We're playing at home and everything like that. So I definitely think the utilization of play action and making plays will definitely impact just the consistency of the offense and getting the job done and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm with you. A lot, maybe a couple more here, but the other one this one's pretty obvious. These are keys for every game.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking about Wisconsin Badgers, this is not we need to get in the lab, guys. We really got to scheme this one up. They got a crazy scheme. No, Wisconsin does what Wisconsin does. It's not hard to figure out, but it is hard to stop, especially if you get behind the 8 ball there. So just take care of the ball. I mean, this one to me, keys to the offense is just really good fundamentals. We don't have to do anything flashy versus this Badgers team. And I think you saw Oregon kind of get caught by that. Don't be flashy. Wisconsin's going to play Wisconsin football. You don't necessarily stick to your bread and butter of the fight. If Wisconsin wants to play Wisconsin football, you can almost lean into a little bit. It feels like when you try to fight it, kind of what I was talking about with Iowa, you try to fight it, you try to get a little more aggressive. That's when things go downhill. Because to your point, they lean on that defense. And if you want to try to be overly aggressive while they play this slow, conservative style game, you're going to be caught at the end there with a lot of 3 and outs, trying to throw the ball all around the yard. I mean, that's that Oregon game in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Keep trying to throw the ball around the yard. Be overly aggressive. You're playing into the Badgers' hands. Like, that's exactly what they want. So that's simple. Don't turn it over.
Yeah.
And just play simple, fundamental football. If you execute, you'll win the game. It's that simple versus this Wisconsin team. They don't have – it's not like Travis Hunter, Shador. It's not a Colorado team where I know we beat them, but they just
it's not an Ohio State team. It's not even, you know, an Indiana type.
They don't have those playmakers. So if you just play – if you're in your spot, like, you're going to win more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that simple. Like, there's guys out there that they'll break whatever you're trying to do, even if it's the perfect scheme. Doesn't matter. Like, they're just that good. Wisconsin, outside of Walker, doesn't really have any of those guys. So that's kind of my final point for them.
Mine would just be, you know, get into manageable situations on third down and convert them. Keep rolling. You know, building, establishing stuff, being on the field, and ultimately, put the ball in the end zone, but don't get behind the sticks.
Yeah.
To where you get put in positions to where you got to throw it like Oregon. You know what I mean? Get to manageable third downs, manageable second downs, and everything like that, and convert them. You know, make the play to keep extending the drive. Which I feel like this last game was more consistent. Like I said, you know, hopefully we take, you know, even more step in that way, and you know, hopefully, you know, an ISO or a stretch or a counter, you know, from the running back takes it to the house for 30, 40 yards, and, you know, we can kind of celebrate that.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. That, to me, that was the most pleasing thing with Dana Holgorsen versus USC was even on 1st and 10, like we were just, it was very, at least noticeable to me, that we were taking great precedence on having a manageable third down because we were running, you know, pretty consistently. It wasn't hard for USC to figure out. We were going to go ahead and try to run the ball 1st and 10, probably about like 8 out of every 10 times. And even if we got 1 yard or 0 yards, hey, it's second down, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10 at worst. We're not taking sacks. And that's been one of the things with Satterfield where I get it. There's certain times, certain parts of the field you want to take a shot on 1st down. It's putting us in a hole more often than it's worked. So I was, you know, we talked about that for air raid. It was still pretty simple. And it was, hey, let's just make third downs manageable.
Period.
What do you got next?
And then for defense, I mean, we talked about it earlier. Yes, it's stopping the run. Wisconsin, you know what their identity is. They're on their second quarterback. Their offensive coordinator is fired, so you don't really know what that offense will look like, or, you know, play calling, what will be, and everything like that. So controlling them and not allowing them to get comfortable, and not allowing them to be established and thinking, you know, they have a chance early and often in the game, I think that knocks their confidence out. It takes the win out of their sails, and that's more opportunity that the defense is giving the offense to kind of go out there and get into a rhythm.
Yeah, this to me is it's once again, it's a pretty one-dimensional team, and I've liked Nebraska's odds versus those teams that are a little bit more one-dimensional. This is a game where I said this versus Illinois, and I was a little wrong to say it because Luke Altmaier was a lot more consistent than I realized. But in terms of passing, like, he was accurate. And like, at least in that game, that might have been honestly one of the best looking games for Luke Altmaier this season was versus Nebraska.
Yeah.
But like, I'll give Luke Altmaier more credit. Like, heading into this one, I'm even more confident saying, like, this is pretty one-dimensional. Unless we do what Nebraska does consistently, unfortunately through the years, it's like let a guy like Tanner Morgan look like the best quarterback in the Big Ten, which we saw with Minnesota and PJ Fleck duo for years. Like, if you play solid defense and you stop the run, like you said, this isn't a hard one to figure out. You take away the run from a running team with who has a quarterback with turnover issues, spells a big fat L for him. But that's only if you can stop it. What else do you got for the defensive side of the ball?
Defensive side, I got win on third down. Get them off the field. Don't allow them, again, to establish, do what they want to do and whatnot. Create turnovers, but possibly don't be in manageable situations and everything like that. Giving them extra chances to figure it out, or giving them life and everything like that. Even with UCLA, we've seen it. We had them right where we wanted to, and, you know, the quarterback slipped out, or, you know, threw a bomb, and it's just like come on, like right then and there. So getting in into getting them to, bad third down situations and absolutely winning on those third down situations and getting the defense off the field, I think is a huge key. Again, you're helping the offense. You're getting yourself off the field. Less than you're not spending so much time out there, and you can talk about the energy of this and that and everything like that. You start giving a lot of 3 and outs and whatnot. I guarantee the crowd will definitely be in it. Their defense has kind of been their thing for a while. So getting back to that and sacks and whatnot and everything like that would definitely help the cause out.
Yeah, and the Huskers, say what you will, they love their black shirts. Like, you have a big defensive play, and it doesn't even have to be the Tommy Hill pick six. Like, just a sack, a big tackle for loss.
Energy's back. It's up.
Doesn't take much. I mean, it just, especially against this game, I think as long as this one's within reach, like, it won't be hard to get that fan base behind you, because this is a point. I mean, everyone's kind of readjusted what they thought about this Husker team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone's kind of looking at these last 2 games like these are going to be close.
Yeah,
the fan base, I imagine, is going to be in it the entire time as long as the team's in it. Like, even if they're down by a score, as long as they're in it, like, the fan base, we're all foaming at the mouth here to get this. Mm-hmm. The rest of the college football world really picking on Nebraska, because why wouldn't you? I mean, it's crazy. Arguably the worst streak of football for any of the blue bloods or any of the blue bloods in college football. Like, it's been that bad. So just stay in it. The one thing I want to say, and this goes for offense, special teams, practice guys who practice who won't even see the field, is like, I want to see some swagger, just some ego, some chippiness. Like, don't do anything stupid. But if I see UCLA versus Nebraska all over again, I'm not going to know what to think of this team. Like, to watch a UCLA school come into Memorial Stadium and punk us was unreal.
It was crazy.
They were taking unsportsmanlike penalties, 15-yard penalties. We'll keep mouthing off because you guys still won't win. And that's what we did. We took the 15-yard penalties just to take the loss with it. You let them say all that crazy stuff just to lose? Like, that's got to piss the guys off. I don't know
how.
For sure. But you got to go in that Wisconsin, because these Wisconsin, I mean, DeMornay, you know this. You played them.
It's gonna be a chippy game.
There's something there.
It's gonna be a chippy game. It's not easy. They can say whatever they want to say, but it's one of them games. It's make sure your chin strap is buckled. You gonna get into it.
Oh, especially teams like that just lean on you all game. Like, it's a little bit. You can definitely get that chippiness versus teams that like to kind of air it out. But when you have teams that just constantly lean on each other, when the offensive line, when it's pretty much all game long, they're just trying to bulldoze you over. Not in pass pro. Like, a lot of times they're coming forward at you.
Yeah.
Those guys leaning on each other. I mean, that's what happens. I feel like that's how that Wisconsin-Nebraska game came to be what it is. And it became to be such a heated rivalry, is because those two teams, because they play such a similar style of leaning on each other, and they played very consistently. I mean, they're just sick of each other. I mean, it's one score. Say what you will, even though Wisconsin's had the better hand, I imagine they're probably still sick of Nebraska, because it's always close.
Yeah.
Like, it's bumps, bruises. It's down to the wire. It's usually pretty damn cold. Although this Saturday, nice, beautiful 56 degrees.
Which is crazy in November, late in November.
These Pac-12 schools got lucky this year. It's been a beautiful fall. It really has been. We do get 18 degrees, though, in Iowa. That we'll get a real cold game. So for anyone going to Connect Stadium, it's roughly around 20 degrees is what they're projecting. But yeah, I mean, as we wrap this one up, I want to talk about this. DeMornay, what is the Wisconsin rivalry to you when you think of you playing Wisconsin and what it's kind of evolved into today?
I hated playing them, but like I would say they have one of the better stadiums in the Big Ten. So anytime that you will go to Camp Randall, it's a good environment.
It is,
but you hate playing them because it's just like you try and you fight, and it's like we haven't gotten over to the other side. It's been 2 times to where honestly, I mean 3 times my sophomore, junior, and senior year where we had a very good chance at beating them, and it just like didn't happen for whatever reason. So it's just like, man, you can't stand them. You got much respect for them. Like, it's not anything like ill will or anything like that. Compared to Iowa, absolutely, I have no respect.
Yeah, I agree. That's like I respect them, but I hate.
It's like you walk in the line. It's like you you know what type of game it is, and after the game, it's like, all right, good game, whatever. Like, see you next year type situation. There's no bad blood unless someone on that side really like trips and like really goes off into the deep end. And typically, you don't see that from Wisconsin at all. You might have one guy that might chirp here and there and everything like that. I mean, like I said, I've been out there with TJ. TJ was talking crazy, but I didn't really hear it. I was already going down the field. So it's one of those things that you circle that game because it's always going to be one of those classic Big Ten type of games that are like, okay, they got people that are going to go on and play at the next level. We got people that are going to go on and play at the next level. This is a game that that can elevate your draft stock playing them, and I mean it's fun playing them.
It is. And, I'll tip my cap to the Wisconsin fans. They usually are pretty nice fans. Like, they're not, I won't say they're as nice as Nebraska, but they're pretty similar. And, like, you're going to run into, like, fans after, even if they beat you, they're like, hey, good luck next year. Or good luck in the next one versus Iowa. As to if you play Iowa, you're not getting any good lucks on the way out the door.
No.
And that's the same way we'd probably do to Iowa. Like, even if we play Iowa, like, that's the one team. Like, even Colorado fans were like, man, you guys were actually really nice. We weren't expecting that based on the rivalry. Like, when the game started, it was over. It was off. But after the game and even before the game, I was like, yeah, good luck. Like, I hope Nebraska wins. But, yeah, we're not just a bunch of haters over here. Wisconsin's very similar in that fashion. So it's like a mutual respect rivalry. But like I said, that stuff kind of goes out the door after you lean on each other for an entire half of football. And you usually see some chippiness from the players in that second half. But I'm excited for it. All right. Good morning, Pierson-El. See if we can get it this time. Score predictions.
You go first.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy not to pick Nebraska at this point. There's 2 left. I got to pick them. I'm going to keep picking them. I think this is not going to be the Dylan Raiola game. I think he's going to continue to play better. But like I said, I think it's going to be kind of time possession game for both teams. We'll keep it a low-scoring affair. Nebraska 21, Wisconsin. Actually, we'll go Nebraska 20, Wisconsin 13.
I got 14-24 us.
I like it. Yeah, I'm pretty close. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring, and I think the key is
you do what you need to do. The defense does what it needs to do to shut down a run game and whatnot. I think it'll be very hard for them to even get 14.
I agree. And we kind of said this earlier, like this could be very reminiscent of the Rutgers game, where very one-dimensional. You shut down the run. We heard that all week long about their running back for Rutgers. We stopped them. They scored 7 points on the day. So with that being said, hopefully we're right with the Huskers win. I don't even care if I get the spread right at this point. Let's just go bowling. Good morning, Pierson-El. Appreciate it as always. We'll do it again next week.